Senator Paul.
I'd like to go on record as saying that it'd be a really rotten, no good, bad idea to have ground troops in Syria, and very naive to think you're going to put 1,000 troops in there and everybody's going to welcome us. Very presumptuous to think, oh, we're going to decide who takes Raqqa and who occupies Raqqa. Don't you think the people there would be aghast to think we're 3,000 miles away going to decide who's going to take over Raqqa and who's going to occupy it? That Assad's just going to let us waltz in, and that Mr. Bash says, oh, we're just going to remove Assad? The assumptions of all of this, the naivete of thinking, oh my goodness. But here's the other problem. We can win any battle, but when we win, we usually go big. And sort of there have been many people, the Powell doctrine, go big or don't go, 1,000 soldiers. And then the other problem, let's say we could win with 1,000 soldiers. Senator Murphy's exactly right. The mantra is always stay, stay, stay. We must stay forever. And if we leave, that's our fault for leaving. There's no exit from a situation like this. But I would say that when you look at a war like this, let's say we were to go in and defeat those who were there, to defeat ISIS. Do you think that's the end? No, when a big force comes, they're going to shrink away, and they will fight till the end of time. And they will fight against an American target if Americans are the target. This is a war within Islam, and I think we should be supportive and try to amplify those who are trying to defeat this aberration. But let's don't make it our war. Look, there are 200,000 Peshmerga. There are 200,000 Iraq soldiers. There's 100 and some odd thousand in the Syrian army. There's 600,000 in the Turks. And there are 15,000 ISIS, and we got to go over there to defeat them? I think we ought to think this thing through and think that this won't be the end. This will be the beginning. And I guarantee you the voices are loud and strong. Everybody says we should have stayed in Iraq. Everybody's still saying we should stay in Afghanistan. Are we going to stay everywhere forever? So I think we need to think through whether or not this needs to be an American-led battle for Raqqa, and that all of a sudden the Kurds are going to waltz in and Assad's going to love that, and the people who live in Raqqa are going to love having the Kurds there. I mean, these are pretty naive assumptions, and we have to be, I think, concerned and think through before we say, oh, we're going to put 1,000 Americans as a spear, as we go into Raqqa. Perhaps maybe 1,000 people from Raqqa might be better than 1,000 Americans. I'm not opposed to, putting some money in there to help them with weapons, to help them. But putting 1,000 Americans in there is a really, really terrible idea.